Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mr. Pumpkin 708, and today we got a brand new Angry Video Game Nerd episode. Now, it is weird that the new video is being streamed by Amazon Prime and then it's coming to YouTube soon. So, I got the Amazon Prime version, so we're gonna see it first on Amazon Prime. Then it's gonna be on YouTube, but it's just the same video. The game he's gonna review is Earthbound. Sorry about that, it's just a sick I caught. I was about to do a Roseanne video last week, but I just got this sickness and I was busy with school, so that something was overcome by me during that week, but I'll get to that soon. Maybe not. But let's get started with the video.
What does that smell? What could it... All these years I thought a skunk crawled in here and choked to death on dog shit, but it's actually coming from this corner. It's coming from one of these magazines. It's this one, Nintendo Power, volume 74. Of course, the Virtual Boy. It was so bad, even the mere mention of it in print amidst the rancid odor of buffalo barf. Wait, no, it's this. Warning, use only in a well-ventilated area. Because this game stinks. Earthbound. Well, that's a game nobody ever talked about. So they're saying it stinks? If so, it would be the first time Nintendo Power was honest. As if life didn't stink enough already. Oh, that's beautiful. The first role-playing game with B.O. Scratch here if you dare. Oh, yeah, it stinks! Let's try the pizza. Oh, God! Wow, that must mean the game is foul. Like real rotten. And that means I gotta play it. I know nothing about Earthbound, other than the fact it was the second part of the Mother trilogy, which was only released in Japan. First was Mother on Famicom, then Mother 2 on Super Famicom, which became Earthbound in the US, then Mother 3 for the Game Boy Advance, and then Mother based on the psychological horror film starring Jennifer Lawrence. So Earthbound must have been so bad, we didn't even get the other games. Well, what do people have to say? Let's find out. How bad was Earthbound? Oh, okay, it's just one of the greatest RPGs of all time, that's all. When did this happen? One of the top Super Nintendo games? And of course, when Nintendo rounded up all their most iconic characters for the Super Smash Bros. Series, they included Ness from Earthbound. And that doesn't even sum up Earthbound's legacy. This game has a whole community. It's worshipped. If God had a favorite game, it might be Earthbound. Everybody and their grandma talks about it. Earthbound, 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 the Mother series, mother fucking shit. Well, guess I missed out on that one. How was I supposed to know? Nobody gave a shit back then. Now I really need to play it. But it's the one game I don't own. Let's see here. Oh, you son of a...
Damn!
God, you gotta be kidding me. It's one of those, okay. Well, luckily it's been released on the virtual consoles for the Wii U and new 3DS, and also the fun-sized Super Nintendo Classic with several built-in games. But this thing probably isn't that much easier to get. I usually play the original cartridges, but this time, for the convenience, I'll make an exception. So the game centers around a young boy. As I mentioned already, his name is Ness, or whatever you want to name him since it's an RPG. He's eventually joined by Paula, Jeff, and Pooh. That's right, Pooh. Your goal is simply to collect 8 sacred melodies and save the world from Gygus, who is one of the most intangible villains I've ever come across, since it's never really explained exactly what Gygus is. It's more like a vague evil force that hovers over the world. Unlike most fantasy RPGs, it has a contemporary setting. You'll see drugstores, burger shops, stop signs, and vehicles that all resemble real life. This is kind of a breath of fresh air. As much as we love the far-out fantasy stuff, it's cool to see something we can sort of relate to. Even the first enemies you fight are common animals. At first, I didn't find this battle system to be very appealing. You can't see yourself, you can only see the enemies. Compare this to Final Fantasy III, Chrono Trigger, or Super Mario RPG. That's how I prefer my RPG battles. I want some kind of visual representation of the hero characters. If I wanted to read through the whole fight, I'd get out a pen and paper and play some D&D or something. Also, a common complaint I have with all RPGs is I really wish you could see the enemy's hit points. When I inflict damage on them, those numbers mean nothing to me. Is he almost dead? Should I be keeping track? How about a damn counter? But after a while, I got used to it. Because I had to, right? This is what you do more than half the game. But then, I started to really like it. Hearing that slashing sound when you make a successful strike on an enemy is so satisfying. You can't mention the fight mechanics without talking about the rolling hit point counter, which is a real cool idea. When you take damage, the numbers roll down, where in most RPGs it would be subtracted immediately. Why does this matter? Well, let's say if an enemy inflicts mortal damage on you, you have a chance to heal that character before it hits 0. This can get real tense because when you see those numbers going down, you're hoping to get your turn in quick. There's some other cool ideas here, like the auto battle option. So if you need to take a piss or do something else, you could let the game play by itself. There's also the sneak attacks. If you approach an enemy from behind, you get the first turn. But if they approach you from behind, they get the first turn. The dialogue is never boring. Characters will often break the fourth wall, making comments that allude to the fact they're inside a game. This guy says, "It could only cost you your life, and you got that for free." Or they'll say something that has nothing to do with the game, like, "I want to tell you the story of the creature from the vegetable soup, but I won't do that because I don't want to bother you with a story that has nothing to do with your adventure." I want to know. You don't just tell me about a creature from a vegetable soup and leave me hanging here. In lots of RPGs, the dialogue can be tedious, but here, because it's so funny, it makes you want to talk to everybody. The music is very diverse. It can be jolly, or creepy, and of course it has the mandatory Happy Town music. Those towns, always so peaceful. Yeah. The moment I think best exemplifies the shifting tones in the music is when you're walking in the desert, and through the winds and trippy ambience, you start to hear a song come in, as if being played on a distant radio. There's no way to cover everything that happens in this game, but just to give you a taste of how unpredictable it is, let's just say you use a pencil eraser to erase a pencil, Ness rides on a Nessie-type creature on your SNES, you use zombie paper to catch zombies, like flypaper, so it makes perfect sense. You follow a hooker into a hotel room where a bunch of monsters gang up on you, you wake up in some weird room, you telepathically communicate with Jeff in a snowy land where he fights giant cavemen at Stonehenge and goes into a lab where a scientist builds a spaceship, you fly around, crash into a graveyard, ending up in the same weird room, you get a carrot key to use on shadowy bunnies to enter a cave, there's a town where nobody talks unless you give them a book to overcome shyness, there's a guy who turns himself into a dungeon, you go inside him to get a submarine. This is not normal. You gotta be insane to come up with this. What just happened to the game?
Okay. And what did... Alright, so far, I don't get any sense from this game at all. Not even a damn thing.
And we gotta talk about these enemies. What the hell is that thing? You never know what you're gonna have to fight. It might be a pile of puke, or a UFO with a pink bow, or a cup of coffee, a car, happy vinyl records, gas pumps, melting clocks, a speed limit sign. I'm fighting a sign! And they chose such a moderate speed limit. It could have been 9,000 miles per hour, but they picked something ordinary. Even Handsome Tom makes an appearance. And now I'm fighting a tent. Dude, I'm fighting a tent. Whoa.
Okay. Despite its trippy animation and all that stuff, I really don't get it. I really don't get it. Not even the nerd doesn't get it. Was this game made by people who are high? See, look, he's getting high.
That's it. This game's awesome. You know, I've talked a lot about wasting your time playing bad games, but there's something equally sad about missing out on a good game. I thought it was shit. I thought it was shit. I thought it was shit! You didn't tell me it wasn't shit, you fuck! You know, why did it flop? Some say it was because of those smelly ads, but that couldn't have been the whole reason. The 90s was all about gross out humor. That was the same decade that gave us Booger Man, Nickelodeon's Gak, Beavis and Butthead, Earthworm Jim, Ren and Stimpy. The 90s was the barf age. All the grunge bands, they sang like they were just getting over a sickness. Marilyn Manson, he sang like he was perpetually vomiting. Sweet dreams of it just doesn't make sense. Like, how did it tank so bad? Some say it was because the game was overpriced because it came with a player's guide inside of an oversized box. Your mom has an oversized box!
Oh.
So, it's a good...
Don't you talk about my mama. Don't you dare.
Game. Maybe even a masterpiece. That means I'm gonna let it off the hook. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfect. My ass! Yeah, I don't mean to piss on everybody's parade, but I do have some gripes. Beginning with my most minor complaint. All the money you earn from defeating enemies, you have to withdraw from an ATM or cash machine. Whenever you die, you lose half the money you're holding. You might say it's an interesting game mechanic because it's like real life, where you only want to take out as much as you need. But it only causes you to keep making extra stops and is a constant inconvenience. There's a part where you have to give somebody a diamond, but she won't take it unless you walk around to the other side of the desk. Have you ever had to walk around a desk to give somebody something? Here you go.
That is so stupid. That is so stupid.
It doesn't help that walking around anything could get you stuck. Hey, it's just trees. Look how tiny I am. I can't fit past that tree. This is almost as bad as Little Red Hood.
Oh God,
Also,
not
you
that
move pretty
game.
slow, and with such a big world, getting around can be a chore. Sometimes you want to outrun enemies, but they're all the same speed as you, or faster. But oh hey, I found a bike. That solves that. Oh shit. Seriously? As soon as more characters join your party, you can't use the bike anymore. It's a one-seater only. Well, since NES is solo for only a small part of the game, that means the bike is pretty much worth jack shit. Thanks for the tease, assholes! There's too many incidental items that only get used once, like the piggy nose, which you use to sniff for magic truffles. I can't think of any other area in the game where you need that, so your inventory gets filled up quickly with all these items that you don't even know if you're going to need again. And yes, what you see on screen, that's all the inventory you can hold for each character. You can use Escargot Express, which is a pickup delivery service that can take the items off your hands and save them for you. But every time you call these bastards over, they only pick up 3 items at a time, so it's more messing around and jumping through hoops just to keep what you want to keep. When you buy items, there is no option to pick quantity. If you want to stock up on many of the same item, you have to buy them one at a time.
I've experienced this before.
be so much easier just to do this?
It would.
Something as simple as buying items from the store is torture. Absolute fucking torture. Then there's a secret entrance that you have to access by standing behind a waterfall. You're supposed to stand still and wait. This is very similar to the tornado in Simon's Quest, which I've referenced 1,000 times, but that's nothing. You only have to wait about 5 seconds. But you want to know how long you have to wait here? 3 whole minutes.
What?
I'm dead fucking serious.
You know what? It seems like the tornado from Simon's Quest doesn't seem that bad after all.
If you die, you get the worst punishment ever. All your friends remain dead and have to be revived. To revive them, you have to take them to a specific place, usually a hospital. Along the way, will most likely be forced into fighting a bunch of enemies without the help of his friends, which makes the whole process take even longer. When you get to the hospital, you have to pay a fee. Oh shit, I need to go to the ATM to get some money. So get the money, go back to the hospital, and now the friends are revived. One at a time.
Oh man, saved it like the money.
But their PSI or magic is still not replenished. So you either have to find a bunch of magic butterflies or go to a hotel and pay another fee for that. But the craziest thing is many of the areas in the game don't have hospitals or hotels. It might be a spring or a pool, a geyser, or some weird character with healing powers. You never know. So you do not want to die in this game because depending where you are, it can take maybe 30 minutes to get everybody powered up again when a simple reset would have done nicely like every other fucking game. Even something as simple as saving the game is a hassle. You have to call your dad who records your progress. That would be fine, but the guy just won't stop. Your dear old dad was also thinking about hitting the hay for the night. I have recorded a record of your adventure to this point. Good night, sleep tight. No, I'm not done. Continue. You like to work hard, just like your mother, but I don't think it's good to work too hard. This happens every time. Every single fucking time. You want to know how you save a game?
Yes, I know.
That's how you save a game. Instead of having to wait through all this bullshit.
Now, saving the game is pretty much easy on every single game. Usually, at the end of the game, they will make you save, or maybe you could do it through the pause menu, which is easy. But going through text while saving it, how the hell is that possible? Really isn't.
Sometimes your dad calls you out of the blue. Hello, it's your dad. You've been out there for a long time now. It may be none of my business, but don't you think it would be a good idea if you took a break? Don't you think it'd be a good idea to go fuck yourself? This game is all about interruptions. Again, it's seemingly using Simon's Quest as the model. Here, earthquakes constantly stop you from moving. And you know it's coming, but there's nothing you can do. Any second now. And he's, come on! Go, go, go! But the worst interruption of all. The photo guy. He drops in to take your photo again and again and again for no real purpose except for the end credits. Whoopity-doo. He shows up all the time, and I mean all the time. Leave me alone! Let me play the game! Often you may need to backtrack to areas in the game you've already been to, and with such a big world and so many enemies in your way, it could take forever to get from one place to the next. So thankfully, you get the power to teleport. Now you can instantly go anywhere you want. Or not. There can't be anything in your way. You need extra clearance, perhaps just enough to reach 88 miles per hour. This isn't Back to the Future. What is this shit? And if the roads are on an isometric angle, forget about it. You know how teleporting is supposed to work? Like this. Many areas in the game, the space just doesn't exist. How am I supposed to teleport here, or here, or here? You have to take a long hike to get somewhere else, which defeats the whole purpose of teleporting. It's another useful ability gone down the shitter. By the end of the game, you get an upgrade. Now the teleport goes in a circle, which is significantly better, but still, you can slam into things even when there seems to be plenty of space.
You
Ass! I'd throw the game out the window, but it's on the Super Nintendo Classic, so that would mean throwing out Street Fighter 2, Donkey Kong Country, F-Zero, and Castlevania 4. And after all, I'm willing to excuse most of this shit because the game charmed me so much with its unique style. I still maintain it's an awesome game, but those are some serious strikes against it. No matter how frustrating it gets, I can't stop playing it because I want to see what happens next. You never know what this game's going to throw at you. All of a sudden, you're fighting a bunch of police officers. Police officers are trying to beat up a child. Then you're fighting a bunch of Klansmen who worship the color blue. Holy shit, I'm so overwhelmed trying to explain everything that happens here. The question is, what doesn't happen? Each area invents its own set of rules. In the neon town of Moonside, you can't walk around much. You're always trapped inside invisible barriers. So you have to talk to certain warp people who look just like everyone else, and they warp you to the next place. Also, in this town, yes is no and no is yes. So you have to answer everything opposite. Pay for the doctor's fee? Yes, no, yes, no.
How do you manage to screw up a yes and no feature? What is this? Dr. Seuss? I remember this one movie, Dr. Seuss's Cat in the Hat, the live action version with Mike Myers. Because in the end, thing 1 and thing 2 say the thing opposite. Like, do not do it, that means yes, and do it, that means no. I don't know, maybe it's the other way around, but that whole thing is confusing.
It's a yes or no! There's a part where you have to navigate through a series of caves by trading items with monkeys. This is where your inventory skills of what to keep and what not to are put to the ultimate test. If you want to see how complicated this part is, just look at the player's guide. And it's just so you can get a yogurt dispenser to give to a secretary to grant you access to a certain floor in a building to fight robots, rescue Paula, and escape in a helicopter. Or not. It's like the Wizard of Oz with the hot air balloon. Come back, asshole! You eat a magic cake, which changes everything into a completely different game. This is where you play as Pooh for the first time. You have to go to the top of a hill known as the Place of Emptiness to meditate. This is another instance where you're supposed to stand still and do nothing. Then a voice calls out and says to stop your meditation immediately. Okay, so I go back to my master and he says to try again. What? So I go back up the hill again. This time I ignore the voice because you can't even trust what the game tells you.
The hell?
Okay. To complete your trial, I am